Dear white people, we say the crime rate among minorities is disproportionately high, unfortunately. Like, there must be something wrong with them. I mean, look at the prisons. Packed with blacks who load gas and sell packs and filled with gang leaders and women beaters, but I find it ironic. Why? What's a greater crime? Narcotics or genocide? I mean, what's worse? Selling drugs to put food on the table, or taking every man who's able from their homeland and using them for slave labor? Now, I'm not saying selling drugs should be a legal vocation. I'm just asking, who are the real criminals in our nation? It's no mystery. Look at a history book. Did you know Columbus didn't discover America? It was already inhabited by native civilization. They just weren't considered to be humans because they spoke a different language and didn't have the Christianity the Europeans were faking. If you think natives celebrate Thanksgiving, you're mistaken. 20 million of their people's lives have been taken. After the arrival of the Europeans, they lost 90% of their population. The rest were forced onto reservations. And days after Honest Abe signed the Emancipation Proclamation, he ordered the largest massacre in the history of our nation. 38 natives hung from a rope. They were considered criminals instead of the heroes who had stolen their hope. But who are the real criminals? You tell me. Did you know that 1 in 3 black men can expect to end up in prison in their lifetime? So they say, don't walk city streets at nighttime. There are bad men out there. Like, a good black man has become rare, but this statement seems unfair. I mean, what's a good man? A slave owner? A Klan member? Remember, this is the history of our country, and the past is not just in the past. Though it's gone on paper, racism lasts. Is a good man one who benefits from the unjust systems created by his forefathers and goes to college, gets a good job, but never bothers to hear the cries of those crying out from the ghettos created by white flight and redlining? Their cries are the bullets flying, taking each other's lives. Is the good man the one who sits back and says, they're the ones choosing to break the law, and that's why they're losing? I mean, who are the real criminals? Those who live in the ghetto, or those who created it? Those who drop out of school, or those who write checks to the schools that do best on culturally biased standardized tests? The gang member who joined the gang because he had nothing else, or the rich person who ignores the poor, only thinking about themselves? You tell me. Did you know the first gang was started by kids that wanted to be Boy Scouts? They just were denied access due to their blackness, because the white parents didn't want their kids in Boy Scouts with black kids. Who are the real criminals? Those kids who started the gang productivity, or those parents who denied them a healthy, organized activity? You tell me. I hope you can see that the real criminals are the people like me. The thing is, the power has always been ours. We've had the choice to make our crimes legal. We write the laws that keep society unequal. See, racism plus power minus love times 240 years equals inequality between groups of people. It equals laws that say our genocide wasn't illegal, but hands out felonies to young black men who then will never be in a position of dignity for mistakes they made when they were teens. It equals nice suburbs filled with whites with good schools and opportunities, just outside communities where hundreds are gunned down each year. I don't know if I'm making myself clear. My dear white people, the crime rate is disproportionately high among us. I don't care if you were ever a Klan member or joined a plantation. We are the beneficiaries of our country's white supremacist foundation. It's a crime to see the high crime rates and the educational achievement gaps and the low pay rates and the minorities isolated to certain places on the map and say, it's not my problem. What can I do? I mean, are we not all human? Are we not one nation? Is it not a given that we uphold our fellow citizens? Jesus was most furious with those who claimed to be godly, but denied justice to the orphan and the widow. Yet many Christians do nothing because we don't see widows through our stained glass windows. And our country condemns the young men who grow up fatherless without considering why they committed their crime. It should be so obvious. Example, in this very place, my friend was profiled for his race. Just a kid out here on his own, running away from a broken home. But they cuffed his wrists, took him to the car, and shoved him into the back. As to the reason why he was out here in the first place, they never even asked. Who is the real criminal here? You tell me. If you are a person of color, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the racism you have faced. I know the past can't be erased, but I want to do right. I'll run with you in this race. And if you're a white person, I have not written this to make you feel guilty or ashamed. You're not the one to blame for being born in white skin in a racist society. But that's no reason to stand by and live silently. Whatever race you are, Jesus died for you and He died for me. And if you believe, the Spirit in you is the same one inside of me. I've written this so that we could be united and together see the injustice and fight it in a way that's not divisive. I've written this to provoke you, to invite you. Get to know someone not like you. Sit out or join in is your decision. Reconciliation and friendship is my vision. Let Jesus set you free from your heart and mind's prison. Reconcile to God and reconcile to each other, regardless of color, sisters and brothers. Because whatever color you are, we've all been blood bought, so please let me leave you with one thought. My dear white people, know that it's a blatant lie to say the crime rate among minorities is disproportionately high. And let's stop thinking we're better, and let's all come together.